Hello all, it's Marilla with a mini donut recipe. I think these donuts are perfect because there's almost no guilt involved. They're so tiny, there's not much to them, so you don't have to worry about eating a couple. I went ahead and used a recipe from Granny Girl blog, and I did not use their substitutions, so they use things like almond milk instead of milk. I live in Turkey, and almond milk is like 10 times more expensive than milk, so I just opted for the regular ingredients instead of substituting like they did. I went ahead and mixed up my wet ingredients in a pan because I'm going to pop it on the stove and melt the butter and mix all the ingredients together. When you're doing this, you do need to make sure that you keep an eye on your stovetop. The first time I did this, I did not keep an eye and my eggs cooked too much. So make sure you heat it on low, that you stir it regularly, keep an eye on it while you're doing your dry ingredients. I went ahead and mixed up my dry ingredients though while I was heating up the wet ones. That way I did not have to wait once I melted the butter and everything. So I mix up my dry ingredients, get that all set and ready to go, and then I wait for the wet ingredients to be ready. Once they're ready, I go ahead and mix them all together, give them a quick stir, and then the dough's ready. It's really simple, really quick and easy. There's not much to it. It's like making a cake or something. Not complicated like bread with a lot of steps. This was pretty basic. Once you have it all set, go ahead and oil your pan. Some people don't oil silicone pans, but I did just because I wanted to make sure that these donuts didn't stick. I'm using a pastry or a cookie container to help pour the dough. I found that pastry bags and Ziploc bags don't work. They'll pop under the pressure because the dough is just a little bit thicker than your typical icing or something like that. So I went ahead and filled up the donut pan, and then I went and popped it into the oven. While that was cooking, I cleaned up my horrifically messy counter area because that little square is my only counter space in my tiny little kitchen. I refilled the pastry container for the next batch, and then I just had to wait on the donuts to come out of the oven. Once those donuts came out of the oven, I popped them out on a tray after waiting about 5 minutes for them to cool down a little bit, and then I re-oiled the pan and then again poured a new batch of dough in them. Since the pan only holds a few and I only have one pan, it takes quite a few batches for me to make a lot of donuts. This double batch made almost 150 donuts, and it took me hours to get that many because I had to do a little bit at a time, cool it down, and then go. While I was waiting for this next batch to cook, I made some icing really quickly just with icing sugar, or powdered sugar as we call it in the States, and milk. Really quick and easy. I use coconut, sprinkles, various things like that to decorate these. I also later on went ahead and added red food coloring and made some really punchy red icing to add a fun pop to these donuts. That way there was some contrast to the white that I had on the donuts and the white style I had. Although these look so cute and dainty, and with white icing and white sprinkles, they look super feminine and adorable. And I really love the way that the mini donuts look as far as classiness. Once you're all set, you just let them cool, you pop them on a plate, and you are ready to go. Drink a cup of coffee and enjoy your mini donuts. Have a wonderful day, guys, and thanks for joining me.